When asking a Liverpudlian to sing Louis Armstrong's Sugar Foot-Strut, he might start to sing something like Sugar Foot-Strut. You would get a more standard pronunciation when asking a Londoner. But why does one accent differ from the other? Today we're going to focus on the Foot-Strut Split, which was first reported in the 1640s. However, we will first have to define the Great Vowel Shift. The Great Vowel Shift, or GVS, is a term coined by Otto Jespersen in 1909. It refers to a period of radical changes that shaped Middle English into Modern English. It spanned from the 14th century to the 18th century. It affected the pronunciation of almost all vowels. However, this shift didn't occur uniformly, resulting in local phonological differences over time. According to Jespersen's idea about the GVS, phonemes are replaced by one another. It can be described as a chain shift with multiple stages. During the first stage of the GVS in Southern English, the closed back vowel U, as in hus, modern-day house, shifted to become the diphthong au, but it did not in Northern English. This is due to the fact that there were no mid-closed back vowel O in Northern English. In Southern English, shifting from O to U during the second phase caused the original U to diphthong, but because Northern English had no O to shift U, U did not diphthongize. This is why you will often hear Northerners say "me house" instead of "my house." Let's focus now on the short U sound. In Southern English, the U sound was split into two distinct phonemes. The vowel first unrounded and then lowered to become the open mid-back in some words such as cut, but, and strut. However, in other words, such as put or butcher, the vowel became near close, near back rounded. Words with two O's were also split into two categories. In some of them, such as blood, U became short and became part of the strut class. In others, such as good, the vowel became short after the split and joined the foot class. However, with recent surveys, it has been established that the one phoneme area is becoming smaller, with more speakers within it displaying a distinction, hinting at a standardization. We can see the geographical distribution of the Foot-Strut Split thanks to F1-F2 graphs made in part by Mr. Ferragne in formed frequencies of vowels in 13 accents of the British Isles. In this experiment, the word hood and hud are used to illustrate the Foot-Strut classes. We can see that in the case of the standard Southern English, which serves as a reference, the word hood and hud, circled in red, are distinct from one another. However, this distinction disappears for speakers from Liverpool in the northwest. In Birmingham, in the West Midlands, as Mr. Ferragne and his colleague have found out, the Foot-Strut Split is equally divided between speakers with and without it. According to John C. Wells in Accents of English and Mr. Ferragne, the West Midlands is a transitional area with both phonemes. This leads us to draw this approximative map of the geographical distribution of the Foot-Strut Split. The test pool of Mr. Ferragne's experiment was exclusively male. This is because male subjects have a tendency to stick with their native accents, as we saw multiple times. Moreover, social status must be taken into account. According to Wells, many educated northerners would not be caught dead doing something so vulgar as to pronounce strut words with U. This is evidenced by another research on the Foot-Strut vowels in Manchester that took into account the social status of the speaker. As we can see on the graph, people with a higher social class, column 5, produce Foot-Strut vowels differently, whereas speakers from the lower social classes are more likely to pronounce the two as homophones. It has been observed that northerners working in southern England adjust strut vowels closer to the centre of the vowel space, giving it a schwa-like quality. In conclusion, we can see that the Foot-Strut Split, which was first documented in the 1640s, established a north-south divide, with the south having a phonemic distinction between the two classes, but the north having only one phoneme. There are indications that social status plays a part in the divide, as speakers from a higher class are more likely to produce a phonemic distinction. However, with recent surveys, it has been established that the one phoneme area is becoming smaller, with more speakers within it displaying a distinction, hinting at a standardization